See, guys, there's so many ways that you can look at this world, and it's up to you on how you want to see this world and the perspective that you want to have. What we all need to understand is this world is full of deception on levels that's unimaginable to us. You know, we don't know how deep this goes. So here is a picture of a theatre. Now, with regards to the last 2 years since it all started properly, well, it's gone on way longer than that, but you know, from how they've got us involved, or tried to get us involved, and our surroundings involved, with the complete utter scam that's taken place over the last 2 years, and a complete staged event. I mean, at the start you had the hospitals apparently overflowing, and that's what they showed, and that wasn't true at all, because all the hospitals were empty. You know, all the hospitals were empty, and they were only getting actors in to stage as if the nurses were busy and the hospitals were full. And they showed old clips from the past. You had people dropping in the streets in India, supposedly, and they showed people laying in the streets, and there was a photograph of a couple of people laying in the streets. Turns out that was a photograph from a gas explosion a few years before. So they used that photograph in the mainstream media, even though it was a photograph of people that have apparently been injured or killed by a gas explosion. Even that could be all staged, but they seem to recycle these photographs and use them. And we all found out that we all knew, and a lot of people found out that the CV narrative was a complete utter scam, and it was a staged narrative. All of it was staged. The hospitals overfilling, the people dropping in the streets, people going around filming it all. You know, it was all part of the big theatre that they want to show us all. The big deception. And it was just like a big movie theatre. It was a Hollywood production. And that's all it is. And then you've got all these false flag terror hoaxes and attacks, or even just hoaxes, staged events that have been going on for years. You've had all these attacks, these staged events taking place in London, in Paris. You know, we saw the Paris attacks, complete utter fabricated and staged by the looks of it. Yeah. And there's a movie, is it called Wag the Dog? And in that movie it shows how to get people's attention diverted and distract people. They stage a war. So, you know, that's a movie that's definitely worth watching, because it kind of shows what's really going on. You know, they do like to tell us what's going on in codes, don't they? But yeah, everything's staged, from the moon landings. Everything's just theatre. It's Hollywood production. The president of Ukraine, or should I say actor, Zelensky, was an actor. He was an actor. He was a comedian and an actor. It says it. A former comedian and actor. He played a president in a Ukrainian movie before he actually became president. And I say that in quotes, because all these, quote, political leaders, end quote, are all actors. Boris Johnson, Alexander the Pfeffel, whatever you want to call him, is an actor. Did you see him the other day? He spoke to one camera in English, addressing the UK, and then into another camera he addressed he said a message in Russian. He started speaking Russian. It's like, what the fuck? Complete setup, complete a scene that's set up. for the media. You've got these people in Ukraine going around now, these vloggers. There's some vloggers. I'm going to actually do a video on this later because it's really weird. I find it a bit odd. You've got these vloggers in Ukraine that are going around. They've been doing videos for years, and I think it's come to all this where they're actually staying in Kiev or they're staying in Ukraine. And you know, they've realised it's a mistake, and they're showing the scenes around, saying there's bombs going off and everything like that, there's sirens going off. Yet at the other end, you've got some Ukrainians tweeting that there's no missiles or bombs. It's all theatre. You know, it's all just for the media. The sirens going off, but that's it. They can do that just to make you feel like there's a war going on when there isn't. You got to remember that all the politicians work together. It's all in one big club. You don't get onto the world stage unless you're in the club. That's how it works. They're all part of the same club. That's why they all meet together, they talk together, they shake hands, they have secret meetings, they have meals together. And, you know, and they even put that on the world stage. Of course, I bet it's more intimate off the world stage, off the camera. But for the camera, that's what they do. It showed us that they meet up. But we're supposed to believe that there's this super villain called Vladimir Putin, who's going around, he wants to take over the world and kill people. Doesn't that seem just like a Hollywood movie? Because that's all it is. You know, it seems like a Marvel movie. And when you read the book, it's like reading a Marvel comic book. That's how I see it now. And it's to put fear in people. It fears people. That's how they control you. They put fear in you by staging events, getting you glued to the TV screen. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Oh, I wonder where this is going. It's like a storyline. Now, that's not to say that people don't die, because people do die. People do actually get killed in these stuff. You know, they are still psychopaths. But because they have the media and the TV, the propaganda tool, it's a weapon. It's basically a weapon. They've got that to control people's minds, and they can control people in such a way to get them to do what they want, you know, them to do. You know, they can control people to an extent where they want them under their influence. And the TV is definitely a propaganda tool. It's a scrying mirror, a black mirror, a legend, which is an old legend. It's nothing new. It's all military technology. You know, the TV just happened to come out around about a similar kind of, maybe a decade or two off, a similar time where it started to become popular, when the moon landings were happening and everyone glued to the TV to watch the moon landings. It's all theatre. It's all theatre. A lot of what you see is fake. A lot of it is deception. Even some of these people that are going around saying, oh God, you know, some of these people that are now coming out saying that the CV was a scam and everything, and that don't want to take the jab and everything like that, and now they're talking about how they want I'm sorry guys, I am outside if you can hear birds tweeting. Now they're coming out and saying that, oh no, NATO needs to protect us from this dictator Putin, and I'm like, what guy? You've just literally said that you don't, you know, you don't trust the like Western politicians or anything like that because of what they're doing to you. You know, you're saying they're trying to kill you and everything, and now they're a hero. It's like, what? I've seen some comments on YouTube, the same comments that a couple of months ago, that said that they don't trust anything the Prime Minister says or whatever. You know, they want to kill us, you know, and all that stuff. And now on their side they're saying, oh yeah, that was good actually, well done Boris. It's an absolute setup. It's you know, these are all actors. I actually think some of these people that you see on the camera fleeing the country are not actually. It's just a staged production. I watched a couple of years ago from a stage production in Syria where it was showing these so-called refugees trying to flee a bomb a region, an area where what's been bombed, and they're under attack and everything. But what it showed was they had to freeze for the camera, and they were getting the makeup done and everything. It was crazy. And these just look like ordinary people, so it makes you wonder how deceitful is this world and how many people are in on it. Because what if, Ukraine, apparently there's a very strong theory that can be backed up quite a lot, are the Khazars. A mix of Khazars and Nordic people, and travellers, and Roma people. They were a mixture, and that's where it started, Ukraine. Khazars. And the Khazars was Khazaria, which is modern day Ukraine. And it was a mixture of Turks as well. And now, of course, they moved up to Kazakhstan. You've got your Kazakhstan and your Georgia and all that, but it did apparently cover all that. Ukraine, Georgia, parts of Romania, all that lot. So it means, what type of people are they really? It does make you wonder. Of course, a lot of them just ordinary people, but apparently it's where there's been a mafia there, Jewish mafia, that's been running Ukraine for years. So it does make you wonder. There's all sorts of different stories coming out. Apparently there's stories coming out now with people saying that Putin is trying to save the day, and that's where that comes from. But he's part of the club. It's all one big deception again. They're saying he's trying to save the day from the Khazar mafia that's in Ukraine, and that's all these Ukrainians are Khazars, and they get what's coming to them. That's what we're told, but I think that's just another deception. A lot of these Ukrainians are just ordinary people, and they've been deceived to believe that their country's at war, and maybe they do detonated explosions and say it's a missile to scare the hell out of them to get out of their town or city that cause the chaos. And now you've got kids that are affected by all this fear. Some of it could be real, like some of it, a lot of it could be fake. It's one big deceitful game, and you need to understand where I'm coming from here, because even I'm trying to figure this new event out and where it's going. We can say, oh, we definitely know where this is going, but the truth is, no one knows where it's going. We can have an idea, we can think, I think it's going here, but we don't definitely know unless you're in the fucking cult. You're not going to know unless you're in the cult. You can guess and say, I strongly believe that this is going to happen, but you can't say, oh, this is definitely going to happen, because you don't know. How do you know? So we are all trying to still figure out where this is all going. Is it leading to another world war? Will it be staged like the CV was? They did get a lot of people scared during the CV, didn't they? They still managed to, even though it woke a lot of people up. Still, it scared a lot of people, and they believed it was real. Can they make people believe a war's real? Maybe they can detonate loads of explosions all over the place, controlled explosions, so people hear the bombs, and then say, oh no, we've got to flee our city. The city's at war. Get out quick. Find shelter. Stuff like that. They can do all sorts of that. Put the air raid sirens on, scare people. Maybe build some more air raid sirens. So yeah, I think it is possible to stage a war. I really do. I think they can do that. With the talking about the NUKES, I don't want to say it, but you know what I mean. NUKES. They talk about them, but are they real or they're not? I don't know. Loads of people say they're fake. Some people say they're real and they're ready to be detonated. But then you look at Lebanon. Look at what went on in Lebanon. There was a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of controversial stuff. You saw a lot of it was staged. You had this bride that was having a photograph done. As soon as I did a video on it, as soon as the photograph was taken, boom, the dress blew over. They said Lebanon's the bride nation, isn't it? The bride of the Middle East. And she had the wedding dress on, and it looked all completely staged. You had these so-called Lebanese people running from it all, and then you had this one guy tap this other guy on the back. And some of it did look staged. However, I think the actual explosion was real. Now, I don't know some of these places that people don't go to. It makes you wonder what they really are and what these type of people that live there are. You know, like the Khazars, descendant of the Talmudians, and they refer to people as the Goyim. A part of it. But yeah, this world is so deceitful. I'm trying to even figure it out, you know. I wonder if you guys could help me as well. But even I know that you guys are not going to know either, because you don't. Unless you're, like I said, you're in the cult. You can think, oh, this is going to happen. I think this might be a distraction. I think this is going on, because it could be a big distraction. Imagine if, you know, they just sort it out now, which I doubt is going to happen. But imagine if they just sort it out now as a big distraction while they implement new laws and rules and stuff and regulations to the public. They've got everyone focused on one thing. It could be, or they could take it further, and it could be as big as what the CV was. This is the next event, because it does seem very staged. It seems like a big Hollywood production again. Now, I'm not saying these people are psychopaths and they actually will kill families and stuff, because they quite happily will. You know, they will, if they wanted to, they could sacrifice one area where lots of people live, just for the staged, just so they can film it and scare people around the rest of the world, and then just stage the other events. So it's like a movie where people, you know, they have to make the movie. Some people have to be killed for the fear, so they can stage the rest and fake the rest. And it also gives me a question to what this world really is. Is it a big Hollywood production movie that's playing out to some gods or something, and we're the pawns? We're just there to, you know, we think it's real and it's actually not, and they're just getting fear out of us. You know, energy vampires are a real thing. They live off fear and depression, anxiety, and upset and grief. So yeah, you've got to, you know, this world. The more every day I look at the world very differently. Every time something comes out, it makes me think of something else, and it just confuses me even more sometimes. And you know, now this has come out, it is confusing me even more. But that's a good thing, because it kind of gets me to thinking about what it could be, and it can change my perception. But also at the same time to not be deceived. I mean, when I look at now, a few days ago, I filmed a video. I filmed the news, playing the war siren, saying, look, it's going on now, the next event is happening. Because I thought something big was coming. I thought they were going to change the narrative, because the CV is not, you know, it's not going to be enough to get what they want out of people, so they're going to have to do something else. But again, this Ukraine stuff seems, it's like a big Hollywood production. It's like Hollywood's moved to Ukraine. The president, I believe now, pretty much 100% that he's acting. He's playing his part. Apparently he's fighting for his country. You saw these cardboard guns, these army weapons. They had they were cardboard guns. These so-called army men had cardboard guns. It's ridiculous. There was another one of some people fleeing an area, and you had a few people where they were laughing and smiling. You're thinking, what's going on here? And these were people with women and children and families as well, and it's thinking, what's going on here? Is this another staged production? Are these families getting paid? Are these Khazars? You know, are these people in that part of the world running things? Do they know what's going on secretly? Is that part of the world where they know what's going on? I don't know. I don't know much about Ukraine. I didn't know much about Ukraine before all this happened. I've only ever met one Ukrainian that went to my college. But I don't think it is. I think that a lot of these people have been deceived as well, and they think their country's actually at war because they've heard some bombs going off, when really they're just controlled explosions, and that's what caused them to leave the city. I mean, think about it, guys. This Russian invasion, it seems like a load of bollocks. When you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, what, all these Russians just went over the border like that really quick to all these cities, and all these controlled explosions happened at the same time? I mean, these explosions happened at the same time, and these missiles were going off. It just doesn't add up. None of it adds up. I think it's just another scam like the CV. I think it'll play out like that. Get people scared. I think more people will fall for it as well this time. So you've just got to be careful what's real, what's not. It's very hard to judge these days, but there's a lot of fake and stage stuff as well going on in this. Just like the CV with the hospitals overrunning and people collapsing on the streets and all that stuff. You know, we had the people at the start of the CV where everyone was collapsing on the streets in China and saying that this CV is so deadly, it's killing people in the streets, and it's killing like 1 in 5 people that get it and stuff like that, and the hospitals are overrun, and all this stuff was coming out of China, and you're thinking, and everyone was thinking, oh no, I hope it don't come here, and then it came here. What do you know, it's just like the freaking flu, isn't it? Just like the flu. In fact, it's not even that. You know, people get it, they don't even know where they have it. I mean, come on, really? That's what you call a endemic, is it? Yeah, right, okay, sure. Alright. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. And yeah, I will be making more videos on this because I'm just, at the moment, I'm as confused as most of you guys are. You know, we know it's another deceitful lie, what's going on. We still know, aware that the powers that be are lying and they want to take over the world. You know, what they want at this great reset to happen and complete control. But it's going to be interesting what they're going to do to get to that. You know, what path they're going to take, because I think they have different plans and different pathways they can take to get to the same goal. So yeah, two sides of the same coin. That's what this war is. Two sides of the same coin. Alright guys, cheers.